guys, welcome back today for another video. In today's video we're going to be pulling apart the 4-liter that I took out of my Jeep in the last video. Pulling this apart, if you guys haven't been following the channel, consider hitting the subscribe button down below. I'm currently going to build this 4-liter into a stroker, but I do have a motor that I'm putting in the Jeep just for the time being. It's just a stock 4-liter. It's got pretty low mileage, so shouldn't have an issue with it. But if you guys haven't been following the channel, this lost compression on cylinder 3. So today we're going to figure out why exactly it lost compression. I plan on tearing this completely down to bare block. So yeah, and I need a lot of parts off this to go on the new motor. So it's got to get torn apart regardless. And I really want to know what happens. So let's get started and get this thing all apart. All right, so I'm going to start with taking the valve cover off. Probably do the valve cover. We'll take the intake, the header off. And then we'll probably pull the head off, and we'll see what's going on in there. I do know it's cylinder 3 with the issue, so that's 1, 2, 3. It's this guy right here that has no compression whatsoever. So that's what we're going to be mainly focusing on. I do want to check the bearings out and everything, but I don't think those are any part of the issue. It still has plenty of oil pressure and everything. It just has no compression on cylinder 3. So we're going to be taking all of this off. Like I said, we're going to be stripping it down to a bare block. So let's get started by taking the valve cover off, and I'll show you guys what it looks like inside there. And then we'll, move around and start taking more off. So I got the valve cover off of the blown up 4-liter. I don't see anything wrong up top here. So all my roller rockers look good. If you guys haven't watched the one video where I tell you what these are 1:7 ratio Harlan Sharp roller rockers. They add a little bit of power. It's kind of equal to having like a stage 1 cam. They give you a little bit more lift, so you don't fall off around 4,500 RPMs with power and everything. So, but I don't see anything wrong here. All these push rods look to be straight as far as I could see. All the rockers look fine. All the valve springs look fine, so I'm going to continue to tear into it. I'm going to take all these rocker arms off, all the push rods out. I'll probably lift the lifters out with a magnet, and we'll see what else we have here. Okay, so we're just moving right along here. I got the rocker arms off. I got the push rods out. Spark plugs are out. I started taking the bolts for the intake manifold out. I still have to go underneath and get the ones down there. I also took off the thermostat housing, the water pump. I'm going to be reusing my thermostat and my water pump because I have a flow cooler, high flow water pump. It's right here. That's why it's nice and like blue and everything. This is a high flow water pump. And then have a 180 thermostat. So I'm going to be reusing that stuff, and I'm going to get this intake manifold off and the header. And then we're going to hopefully be able to pull this head off. We might have to take some of the accessories off, like this alternator and stuff, but I want to reuse my alternator depending on the condition that the new one's in, because I never did an alternator on this Jeep. So for all I know, this could have 280,000 miles. So if the other one looks better, that's the one we'll use. But yeah, so let's keep moving. All right, so the intake manifold is off. I don't really see anything through these holes, so we'll continue to tear into it. The next step's going to be to take this head off, so I'm sure we'll see something underneath the head. So yeah, just real quick, guys, to get your harmonic balancer off, you're going to need a puller. You can get them at Harbor Freight. They just essentially press against here. You have a rod that presses against here, and it has like this little metal plate that bolts into the harmonic balancer bolt holes right here, right there, and right there. So just keep that in mind. If you're replacing your harmonic balancer or whatever, you are going to need a puller. So yeah, I'm going to get probably the head off now that I got everything else stripped off of it, so everything's out of my way. So we're going to tackle this head really quick, get that out of the way, and then we'll see what it looks like underneath the head. Well, guys, so far I do not see anything that should indicate a problem, which is really weird. So our issue was on cylinder 3. So this is 1, 2, and 3. As you can see, it doesn't look like anything's wrong on that cylinder. Yeah, I mean, as of right now, I can't really tell you guys why there was no compression, because that looks perfectly fine to me. And then the valves on the head, cylinder 1, 2, and 3, these look perfectly fine also. So I'm not too sure what's going on yet. We're gonna have to get this thing turned over. We'll get the cam out. Maybe the cam's no good, which it's a possibility, but I don't think so. I mean, maybe the cam's no good, or maybe we broke a ring. That's definitely a possibility. It looked like the piston was cracked. I mean, I looked down the spark plug hole and I saw that like shiny, like straight line, but it looks like the piston's perfectly fine. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see when we turn it over. I'm about to get this timing cover off and probably slide the cam out before I turn it over. Or actually, maybe I'll turn it over because there's oil pan bolts that go into the timing cover. So yeah, I guess we'll do that. We'll take the oil pan off, and then we'll take the cam out and everything. See what's going on. You know, just keep tearing into it till we find the issue. Well, guys, I feel like I'm like failing you guys right now. I seriously don't see anything wrong whatsoever. I mean, take my word for it. It does have no compression on cylinder 3. Like I ran the compression test down the whole entire fucking motor, and cylinder 1 had 160, cylinder 2 had 165, cylinder 3 had zero compression, cylinder 4 had 165, cylinder 5 had 171, and cylinder 6 had 166. So I don't know what's going on. By the look of everything right this minute, I'm gonna say a ring broke or something, because I don't see, all the pistons seem to be okay. I mean, I'll know more when I take them out, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know what the hell happened, but for whatever reason, this cylinder right here has no compression, and there's like not even a lot of play in the bearings or anything. So I'm not too sure what's going on. So let me get this girdle off, and we'll get the crank rods and the cam out and take a further look. I'm not too sure. Okay, guys, so here's the cam. Everything also looks normal with this too. I don't see anything more oddball or anything. Everything looks pretty similar for the most part. So yeah, actually, I see our issue. I definitely see our issue. Okay. So this cam is no good, and I'll tell you why in just 1 second. So this was the front of the cam. This was towards the front of the motor. So now these two lobes are for cylinder 1. These are for cylinder 2. These are for cylinder 3. These are for cylinder 4. These are for cylinder 5, and these are for cylinder 6. Okay? So if we look at this right here, it's got a nice edge on it, nice pointy edge. And then same thing there. This one is wearing really nice. As you can tell, there's plenty of meat on that one. Plenty of meat on that one. And when we come to cylinder 3, it's worn down pretty well. I mean, I don't know if that would really cause it to have no compression though. So we're gonna keep digging. I feel like this might be part of the problem, but not the whole problem. So we probably have a bad ring is what I'm thinking. But this is definitely worn a lot more than the rest. You know, these two cylinders right here, cylinder 3 and 4, are definitely worn really bad. Keep in mind, when I had this motor open, I didn't do anything with this cam whatsoever. All I did was put new lifters. So that's where the cam sits, right there. And it goes, you know, all the way down. The cam bearings, they look great. I don't see any wear whatsoever on them. Anywhere, honestly. It definitely looks like the motor was wearing okay, but we still need to figure out what caused the drop in compression, and it just randomly happened. Like I was driving and started misfiring on cylinder 3, And sure enough, when I did the compression test, there was no compression there. So I mean, let's keep digging into it, and we'll get this rotating assembly out. We'll get the crank out, the rods out, and the pistons out, and maybe we'll find a broken ring or something on cylinder 3. That's honestly all it could really be at this point, because the pistons themselves look good. Unless I take cylinder 3 piston out and it like falls apart, which I highly doubt, then it's got to be a ring problem. So let's keep digging, and we'll get this oil pump off really quick, and then we'll go through and we'll get all the rods and everything in this girdle off. So I'm about to start pulling the rod bolts off. Normally you want to rotate it until, you know, one of them is, hold on, there's a truck passing. Rotate them until one of them's up top here, and then there'll also be another one in the back of the motor up top, and then so on and so forth. You rotate it until they're all up top, and you can push the pistons out through the bottom, like down that way. So let me get those out, and we're going to find out right now what the issue is. We're also going to find out what condition these bearings are in, so see what happens. Well guys, I got all of the pistons out over here, and to be completely honest with you guys, they all look pretty damn good. The rod bearings look in really good shape, but I did just put them in, so it's kind of expected that they're going to look brand new still. I think honestly the failure was the cam lobe, because this is the cylinder that had no compression. And as you can tell, everything looks to be intact. The piston is still solid. There's a little bit of scoring there, like it was rocking and hitting, but nothing to be really concerned about. I think our failure was that cam. I think it wiped the cam lobes out, which is a common issue for 4-liter, but I want to get this crank out still. Take this crank out of the way, and once this is out of the way, we'll actually get a really good look at the cylinders and see maybe there's some scoring or something on the cylinders. But so far right now, I'm thinking it was a cam failure. So we'll see. We'll get this out, and then it'll be a bare block once we get this crank out, and we'll see the cylinder walls. And I mean, the way it looks right now, we could definitely reuse this block to build a stroker out of it, so that's very good, you know, big thumbs up for that. But I'm kind of depressed that I didn't find some like exploded piston or something. Like it was something stupid like a cam failure. It just blows my mind, like that could cause so much issues, you know. But I guess if the valves aren't opening right or something, it can. But I don't know, I just felt like there was something way more major wrong to have no compression on one cylinder, but I guess not. So let's get this crank out, and then we'll look at the bare block. We'll probably turn it over back upright, and we'll look down in the cylinders and everything. So give me 1 second to get this crank out of the way. So the crank is out of the motor. Keep in mind, if you guys are going to reuse a crank, never place it on the ground like this. I don't care, because this is garbage to me. So is the cam. But you never want to place those just right on the ground. I would place them on like something soft, you know, a piece of wood or something is what I would do. You really don't want to be placing these on the ground, but these are both complete garbage, so see you later. It doesn't matter. All my bearings look good for the main bearings. They all look perfectly fine, no signs of copper or anything. The cam bearings look good, the rod bearings, same story. I'm about to flip this over, and we'll see what the cylinder walls entail. But I'm kind of upset that there wasn't like major destruction here. I mean, this block's completely torn down, there's nothing in it. I still got to punch some freeze-out plugs out. It's not a big deal. I'll probably leave them for now. But, yeah, I mean, so far, I don't really see any major destruction. I'm going to go with it was probably the cam, and it was those wiped-out cam lobes, because I did have an issue with cylinder 4 also. So when I would go, like, wide-open throttle for, you know, a little while, it would always throw a misfire cylinder 4. And then sometimes it would throw one on cylinder 3. So it's just kind of weird. Both of those lobes seem to be kind of like egg-shaped and not pointy anymore. So it's a possibility. More than likely, it was just a cam failure, which is great news, honestly, because that means I can use this whole block. And it means the block is not garbage. So it's good news, but it's kind of just annoying because, I mean, dude, I can get an aftermarket cam, like a comp cam stage 1 for like $230, and this motor would have been perfectly fine. but that's okay. Getting a new motor, so it doesn't matter. And this one I want to make a stroker, so at least I got a block I can work with, and we'll go from there. But let me get this thing rolled back over and I'll show you guys the cylinder walls. Maybe we'll see something there. I highly doubt it. By the look of the pistons and everything, I highly doubt there's anything wrong inside here, but that's okay. I'm also going to take apart this cylinder head too. I'm going to take the valves out and everything and just make sure the valve seats look okay. But I think we're going to be fine there also, so let's see what happens. All right, so some of these cylinders, they definitely don't look too great, especially the one we had the issue on. So you see this right here? I could actually feel that with my fingernail, which a cylinder's got to be 100% smooth. Now, remember what I told you guys? This motor was locked up when I got it. So on all of these cylinders, you could see where the pistons were locked up. And honestly, that's completely my fault. I should have honed these cylinders before I even thought about putting this in my Jeep, but I was very, very time limited, so I didn't go ahead and do that. But you could see where the pistons were stuck, especially on the cylinder we had an issue with. That is not good. All this pitting is very, 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 very bad, and chances are when the ring was coming up, it was losing compression over that, so that's definitely not a good thing. Some of these cylinders look good, especially the ones where the piston was far down when it was stuck, but I think this was kind of a mixture of this motor kind of being no good off the bat, and I think I just got lucky with how long it lasted, to be completely honest with you guys. Honestly, it seemed like it sat in the middle of like a lake when I first got it. I know that sounds pretty bad, but obviously it didn't sit in the middle of the lake, but that's kind of what it seemed like. It looks like maybe they left it outside, and everything just got, pretty nasty on it. So it's kind of my fault, but like I said, I only paid $100 for this engine, and it was running for, 15,000 miles. So $100 for 15,000 miles, that seems like a good deal in my book. So let me, get this thing turned back over, because there's no point to have it this way, because I got to put a crank in it and everything when I get the stroker crank and everything. So I'm going to flip this back over. Everything's out of it. There's nothing left. I just got to clean some gasket surfaces and stuff. But I got to get this block to the machine shop, because it's going to need to be bored over about 30 thousandths bored over for the new pistons, and then we'll go from there. But I want to also take this head apart really quick before we pack everything up for the day. So I want to get these valve springs off, get the keepers off, and get everything apart and just check. I just mainly want to check cylinder 3 valve seats, just to see if that was maybe the issue. But from looking at the combination of the cam being egg-shaped and the cylinder wall being totally destroyed in cylinder 3, I would say that those two culprits are our issue. So I did go ahead and pull these two valves off the cylinder that we had an issue with. Nothing looks out of the ordinary. The valve springs look to be okay. They're not broken, nothing like that. So I'm going to say that our failure was the cam and that cylinder head. So keep that in mind, and we'll be able to reuse this block. So that's a very, very, very good news. Just a little annoying, these two things probably could have been prevented if I changed the cam and honed the cylinders, but it is what it is. I have a new motor that I'm picking up, and this one will be a stroker eventually. So, it is what it is. It happens. It's just a little annoying, but it wasn't catastrophic. Obviously, you can see that. And yeah. If you guys like what you saw in this video, please drop a like, comment, subscribe to my page. There's plenty of more Jeep content to come. I also have the Mustang over here that I'm currently using as a table. It's a good thing it's not painted, because if it was painted, we would not be doing that, but it's not painted, so we don't care. But yeah, so there's plenty of content to come. Jeep, Mustang, Subaru, whatever you guys want to see, just comment down below if you want to see something specific. And yeah, so hopefully next time I see you guys, we'll be putting in the temporary motor, which I don't have here yet, but I'm getting it in 2 days. We'll be probably putting some new gaskets on that, putting my modifications on it, my roller rockers, my header, and all that stuff. And then we'll be putting that in the Jeep. And once that's in the Jeep, then we can start the build on this, which would be the stroker. And yeah, so first things first, we got to get it out to a machine shop, get it bored over, get it all cleaned up and everything like that. But shouldn't be too long of a process to at least get it from the machine shop. And then, you know, I'm gonna do it little by little, so there's gonna be other videos in between, so don't think it's gonna be like stroker build to stroker finished, because I don't plan on rushing through this. I plan on taking my time, especially because I'm gonna have an engine in the Jeep. So I want to take my time with it. I want to buy good stuff, like, so if that means, you know, saving for a little while and doing whatever I have to do, is what it is. I'd rather buy good stuff the first time and do it once and don't do it again. You know what I mean? No point to waste money here. So anyways, so if you guys like what you saw in this video, please drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.